I'm so excited to be talking to you today about the opposite of triggers and what you can do to get more in line with your true, authentic self so that you can heal your life from the inside out, completely free of an eating disorder. Sis, I want you to be grateful for your triggers. These triggers point out where you are not free. And in today's show, we're going to be hitting it hard on how you can see the opposite of triggers, how you can find glimmers. I can't wait to talk to you all about glimmers. This one is going to give you hope and healing for your week ahead. Let's go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. I hope you had a great weekend, sister, and I am going to be talking to you today about glimmers. I want to share with you a glimmer that I had recently. So I had a client who, you know who you are, she sent me this very sweet card. And inside the card, she said, "You are wonderful. I am so grateful that God has placed you in my life. My world has been forever changed by you. Thank you so much." And inside of that was this card that said, "Women who change the world." There are women who make things better simply by showing up. There are women who make things happen. There are women who make their way. There are women who make a difference and women who make us smile. There are women of wit and wisdom who through strength and courage make it through. There are women who change the world every day. Women like you. I wanted to start today's episode with this because not only was it a glimmer to my soul, to my heart and spirit, but just the impact that I have been able to have has been such a blessing on my life. You see, sis, I was right where you are. I was struggling for years of my life with anorexia. I was struggling with disordered eating. I was struggling with all of the things. And God put a dream on my heart to not only recover, but then years later, to be able to spread the possibility of recovery, to be able to coach so many of you through the struggle. And coaching is such a blessing because if I had had a coach when I was going through my hardest times, I don't even know what it would have done to my life, the change that I would have seen. I struggled for so long. Yes, I had a treatment team. I had a great therapist. I had a great dietitian. But just having somebody holding my hand, guiding me, giving me the pep talk, being the cheerleader, being there for me, talking through the present things and getting me to take actions. You see, during that time, I felt like I knew what I needed to do, but I couldn't understand why I wouldn't just do it. And yet that fear would dangle over top of me, just like a black cloud. One day forward, 2 days backwards. And I remember just feeling trapped, feeling like it was so hard. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for my client. Thank you for sending that message to me, that glimmer of love. It has brought so much joy to my heart and spirit. And I just wanted to say thank you to my listeners. Thank you if you're an avid listener to the show. Thank you if you're a new listener to the show. And sis, I want to invite you, if you are tired of the struggle, if you maybe have been in and out of therapy for years, maybe you feel like you relapse once you gain weight, you don't want to be, quote, fat. You work out to actually burn calories versus just for movement. You have this fear of weight gain, of judgment, of what other people are going to think of you. And you haven't allowed yourself maybe to eat real food in a really long time. Maybe you believe you've killed your metabolism. Maybe you only eat certain things and food rules control your days. What would you even do if you didn't have to think about what you were going to eat next or when you were going to be allowed to eat it? Sis, there's freedom from this. And I truly believe that the coaching container, every single amount of love and energy that I pour into each of my clients, it is like nothing else. And so I just want to invite you in. If you're looking for that freedom, go on out to herbestself.co and you can find more information out there of how we can work together to help you actually change your life. Now let's dive right into today's show. I remember in my recovery journey how I would experience so many triggers. And the more and more I actually experienced healing, the harder my voice inside of my head, the harder that eating disorder would pull. It's almost like we did this tug of war dance, this tango of doing really, really well some days and then the opposite the days following. And I learned in order to get through it, in order to walk the road of recovery, I had to be grateful for my triggers because those were the things that were showing me where I wasn't yet free. Maybe you're triggered by the scale, triggered by another person, triggered by seeing somebody else's body, triggered by social media images or comments from loved ones around you, telling you how much healthier you look or wishing that you would get help. All of these things, while maybe many people mean well, can be super triggering when you're living inside an eating disorder mind. But today I don't want to focus on triggers. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on being grateful for them. And I want you to be able to start recognizing the opposite of triggers, the shine in the small moments. And these are called glimmers. They're the cue that's going to bring you back to who you are without an eating disorder. They're the moments in your day where you feel joy, happiness, just for a split second of peace and gratitude. And once you train your brain to look out for these glimmers, these tiny moments, they will appear more and more in your life. They are sparks of positive emotions, while triggers are negative ones. Deb Dana coined the term glimmers in 2018. She is a clinical social worker who specializes in complex traumas. And she said that glimmers are micro moments that begin to shape our system in very gentle ways. That glimmers stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which actually produces sensations of calm and relaxation. Where on the contrary, when you experience a trigger, it activates the sympathetic nervous system. This is that fight or flight inside of you, and it produces anxiety, fear, and anger. These are where you're reacting to memories of your past, situations that you've encountered, or unresolved trauma that you learned to live with and developed an eating disorder or disordered relationship with food from that coping place. Today, I want to talk with you about some ideas of glimmers in your life. Maybe you're thinking, I'm constantly triggered. I'm always on edge. Everything all day long is me thinking about food or me thinking about not thinking about food or me trying to redirect me thinking about food or what I'm going to be doing next, thinking about food. And I get that because I spent so many years just waiting to eat next, saving up all my calories for the end of the day, or restricting so much so that there was absolutely no energy except the energy I was using in my mind to think about food. And while I totally get that, I get that this is real life and your life right now, I want you to know that you can find glimmers. You can actually find glimmers. You see, eating disorders, they shadow all the glimmers of your life. Think about it. Everything good is choked out because the purpose of the eating disorder is to stay alive. And the truth is that your brain wants to be right. If you're searching for something, your brain is trying to find evidence of it. So if you're searching for glimmers, your brain will look for evidence to support finding them. And the same goes for those negative beliefs that have spiraled out of control in your life. This is actually confirmation bias. This is where your brain is subconsciously always on the lookout for evidence to support what you already believe is true. So if you feel that you're never going to change, your mind is actually finding evidence in your life of how you're never going to change. You may feel that these beliefs are true, but they were created over time through these traumatic experiences, and therefore they feel like your truth. But sis, they are a mask of your truth. That eating disorder has shadowed all the glimmers of your life. It's time to get your glimmer back. It's time to get your sparkle back. It's time to start transforming your life by transforming your mind. And that's why, in order to change your life, you have to change your beliefs. But this requires intentional effort to change your focus and to actually look for new evidence, for new truths. It actually requires you to question everything you've believed to be true, especially when it comes to how you feel about your body or what you're actually giving yourself permission to consume. So today I want to share with you how you can find glimmers and some ideas of glimmers. So I'll give you a couple ideas that I thought of. Watching a sunset, laughing with your child, splash of a wave on your face, the sand between your toes, the inhale of a cold morning, the sip of sparkling water on your tongue, the smell of your favorite flower, dancing in the rain, listening to the birds chirping, and for me, seeing a turtle along my walking path. The turtle is my recovery animal, and I'll talk more about that, but I truly feel like in moments of my journey, I would feel like I wasn't gonna make it. I would feel as though I was so lost, I couldn't ever be found. I would feel as though I just kept digging the hole deeper and deeper. I would do things to get myself out of the eating disorder, and then it's almost like I missed the eating disorder and I would go right back into things. That's normal if you're there today. It's part of the shedding process. But every single time I would go through that and I would feel like I just couldn't take one more step forward in recovery, I would find myself coming across the path of a turtle, almost as though God had planted the turtle along my path to remind me that I could be slow and I could be steady and I could go into my shell whenever I needed to, but that I was going to get to the finish line. This is where glimmers are so important. So for me today, I still see tons of turtles where I live in Virginia, and it gives me that hope, that smile, that second of pause that God's got this and He's still got me. Glimmers, they aren't gigantic. They aren't flashy. They aren't degrees. They aren't things that you can achieve. They're not external validations. Glimmers, they're small gifts in present moments, and they're intentions that you can set with yourself today. So how do you find glimmers? Maybe you're stuck, and the only thing that your brain has been searching for lately is the lie that you're not good enough, the lie that you're never going to conquer this, the lie that you'll always be this way, the lie that if you gain weight, you won't love your body, the lie that you will never change. I want you to find a glimmer. And the first way you can do that is to set intention. Remember, our brain actually searches for evidence to support what it is that we're looking for because it wants to be right. So look for them. Look for a glimmer. Open yourself up to the possibility. Have you ever noticed when you look for something and you find it, you're like, wow, I haven't seen that in a really long time. That was such a coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if that thing was always there? You just passed it every single day. What if that turtle has always been there on my walk and I would just pass it every single day because I wasn't searching in my mind for that hope, for that glimmer, for that truth, for that positive reminder that I'm right where I need to be. And sis, you're right where you need to be. So I want you to set intention. This week, look for a glimmer. Maybe it's a moment with your child. Maybe it's a smell of a flower. Maybe it's something to remind you and to ground you of who you are and whose you are. And I want you to put yourself in the environment to find this. Be around glimmers. Go out in nature. Just being in nature, watching the animals, the birds flying all around you, the way that squirrels go from here and there, and they just go. They just are. They're just being who they were created to be. It's your turn. Honor yourself by putting yourself in a place of nourishment. Getting really quiet and really mindful is how you can do this in your own life. But this exercise is going to help today, friend. You can use my glimmers for grounding exercise when triggers strike. I want you to search for 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Just think about that exercise. If you're triggered, if you feel caught in the fight or flight, and you're in that moment, and you are trying to get yourself out of it, you don't want to cave in to the eating disorder voice. But you're so scared because that's what you tend to go to, yet you know that you want to be better. Try this exercise. Your mind is going to search for evidence. What are 5 things around you in that moment that you can see? Name them. What are 4 things around you in that moment that you can touch? Name them. 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. This exercise brings you back to your present moment, and it completely takes your mind through a shift of perspective. You can't think about counting calories when you're thinking about what you can see. You can't think about the weight on the scale when you're thinking about 4 things around you that you can touch. Ground yourself in your truth. Set intention. What is something this week that you want to be mindful of in your environment? What is something this week that you can do to put yourself in a place of mindfulness so that you can honor and nourish your body? Sis, I want to remind you today that you deserve a life of glimmers. And remember that all it takes is a small glimmer inside of you, a spark of truth to set you free. If you've been feeling like you're not enough and you're not sick enough and you're doing just fine and you've got this and you'll figure it out and it sucks, but you've lived with it for this long, so you might as well just continue. I want you to know there is life waiting for you outside of this. You deserve freedom. And I also want you to know that you deserve to shine in these little moments. You deserve to sparkle, to take up space. You deserve to glow brightly. I want you to shine bright, sis. And I want you to come back to this truth this week when you're triggered, overwhelmed, and feeling like you just can't go one more day. I hope today's show has blessed you, and I want to hear it. Did you know that we are past 40,000 downloads on the podcast? I owe you so much thanks and love. And the best thing that you can do if you're a listener of the show is to go out and rate and review the show. You can do that on Apple Podcasts. If you go out and rate and review the show, and then you come hang out with us in our private Facebook community, herbestsselfsociety.com, I will meet you right there. We'll welcome you in. And friend, you'll find other women that are right where you are. I want you to shine a little brighter. I want you to search for a glimmer in your week. And sis, stop settling. Stop settling. You deserve to change the world. And you can start by changing from the inside out. I'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.